Imagine this. You're standing before the final boss. The monster rears back, ready to strike. Your health is low, and now the game itself must make a choice, a critical one. If you possess the magic sword, victory is instant. But if you don't, it's game over. But wait, what if you don't have the sword, but you do have a fire potion? Could that save you? So that's the real question, isn't it? How does a game or any program decide what happens next? Well, in the world of programming, that very system is built with something called if, eli, and else statements. These are Python's tools for controlling fate. And by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how to wield them in your own code. But here's something most beginners don't see coming. One tiny mistake in how you write these statements can completely change everything, the whole outcome of your program. A little later on, I'm going to show you the one common error that trips up so many new coders. And so our quest begins. The first trial on our path, understanding the power of is. Think of the if statement as the program pausing to ask a crucial question. Like, does the hero have the magic sword? If the answer is yes, if the condition is true, then one thing happens. If it's no, well, then something else might happen, or nothing at all. So it really creates this simple fork in the road. Python looks at the condition you set. If it's true, it goes down one path and runs that specific code. But if it's false, it just skips it. It completely ignores that piece of code and continues on its way. And here's what it looks like in practice. It's actually pretty simple. You just write the word if, then you give it the condition to check, in this case, has magic sword, and you end the line with a colon. Now this next part is super important. The code that you want to run only if that condition is true, that has to be indented. See that space? That's key. So, since our variable has magic sword is set to true, the game prints out our victory message. Okay, so quick question for you. We just saw what happens when the condition is true. What do you think happens if it's false? Yep, you got it. Absolutely nothing. The program just skips right over that indented code, like it was never even there. Now, these conditions aren't just for simple true or false things. We can get a lot more specific. We can use what are called comparison operators to check numbers. Is something equal to, not equal to, greater than? This is exactly how a game decides if your level is high enough to enter a dungeon, or if you have enough gold to buy that shiny new axe. So right here, Python is doing a quick check. Is the player's level greater than or equal to 10? If it is, great, you get the message. If not, well, just like before, nothing happens. But what if we want something to happen when the condition fails? What's the alternative path? And that leads us to the inevitable consequence. This is the domain of else. No sword, no chance. You see, the else block is what runs when that first if condition turns out to be false. It's the fallback plan. It's the default path. It's the what happens if nothing else works out option. But what if it's not just a simple this or that situation? Sometimes a hero has a second chance, an alternative strategy. And for that, we turn to elif. So here's how this plays out. Our hero doesn't have the sword, but they do have the fire potion. Python checks these things in order, from top to bottom. First it asks, does the hero have the sword? Nope, that's false, so it moves on. Next, it checks the elif, which is just short for else if. Does the hero have a fire potion? Yes, that one's true. So it runs that line of code, and then, and this is important, it completely skips the rest of the block. It doesn't even look at the else. The very first condition that's true wins, and the whole decision is over. And just like that, you're controlling the flow. You're directing the fate of your program's journey, whether that's inside a game or, well, pretty much any other software you can think of. Okay, let's bring this out of the game world for just a second. Look at this. Here, a program is just checking someone's age to figure out which tournament they can join. But the logic, it's exactly the same. First, it checks the if. Is the person 18 or older? If not, it checks the elif. Are they at least 13? And if neither of those is true, it just falls back to be else. See? Same structure, different story. And believe me, this logic is absolutely everywhere. It's the beating heart inside games, websites, the login systems you use every day, mobile apps, even the way AI behaves. This is fundamentally how software makes choices. All right, now it's time to talk about the hidden trap. the one tiny detail that can bring your entire creation to a grinding halt. Remember what I said at the beginning? That one small mistake could break everything? Well, here it is. It's all about indentation. So many beginners stumble right here. Take a look. On the left, that print statement is flush with the if. On the right, it's pushed in with a bit of space. Now, in a lot of other programming languages, that space is just for looks. It's optional. But in Python, oh no. In Python, it is absolutely mandatory. If you forget that indentation, your program will crash with something called an indentation error. See, Python isn't just being picky. That indentation is how it understands the structure of your code. Any line that ends with a colon, like if, elif, or else, is telling Python, hey, the next thing is a special block of code that belongs to me. And that block has to be indented. It's the law of the language. So, when it all comes down to it, just remember this simple order. If, it asks the very first question. Elif, it checks another possibility if the first one fails. And else, it's the final safety net that catches everything else. In programming, just like in any great game, every single decision changes the outcome. And now you hold the power. You know how Python decides who wins and who gets game over.